There we go.
Oh.
You attended part one, which hopefully you did. You know that our presenter is Kara Marie Morton. She's with Eastern Insuring Agency out of New York, although she resides in North Carolina. So we're going to go ahead and continue with part two today. Thank you, Kara Marie.
No problem. Hi, everybody. Once again, I want to thank everybody for the patience in last week. I appreciate it, you guys, and your just the ability to be able to push this off another week. I know that that doesn't help with planning, but I do appreciate that. Wouldn't have had to postpone if it wasn't important. Today's agenda, once again, it is a refresher of client engagement, what we spoke about last time, building the framework of the homework that you had worked on from the first presentation, and then new homework. So we're going to move through the first couple of slides quickly so we can get to the meat of starting to build and determine the best messages and tools. Okay. First of all, just a reminder, client engagement, it's about retaining and maximizing the value of your client through numerous different types of interactions. It always has to be clear and consistent, helpful communication, and it's always tied closely to your processes. Okay. If you remember last presentation, we talked about the difference between marketing and client engagement understanding. I gave you a slide that defines the focus, goals, audience, strategy, stages, measurements, and initiatives for both. Just to reiterate, once again, client engagement is really focused on retaining and growing the book of business that you have now. The homework assignment was to do research, to analyze your data, to segment an identified segment for a problem that you have, and to start defining the problem. So once again, you were to identify one segment from the research and analysis that you did that you have a problem for, and find and defined 2 client engagement programs that are needed. All right, not write them all out, but what was needed. You worked through this through the research, analyze, develop rules, create and innovate, utilizing the segmentation rules that I had given you, as well as created a list of all your assistive and technology assets available to your clients or to your agency. Technology, once again, it's your AMS, it's a CRM if you have it, it's an email marketing system if you have that, it's sentimentality, reporting like Donna, it's anything that you have available, Word, Excel, a voicemail drop system. An assistive technology or an assistive asset is really truly human resource asset, somebody that you have that has some time to possibly advocate for this program and to really push it, not just to your clients, but push it out to other team members in your agency for buy-in. We talked about how to define a segment, just making sure that you guys didn't get yourself in trouble with any state and federal laws, making sure that you are not gauging this on somebody's age, race, or ethnicity. All right. And we talked about goals, build, and creation being next. All right. Rules of when and where to engage. When there is a need for clarity to articulate an expectation on how you'd be working with them, what they need to do to work with you, and what their carrier requires. When there's a consistent misunderstanding of a product, service, or process. When there's a new product that meets a client's need. When there is an issue or an alert about a policy, when you need to honor your role as an advisor to the client, i.e. children in the home that will soon be driving, renewal reviews, etc. So finding all of those different problems that you're having and making sure that you can transition those problems into a solution and how you're going to engage. All right. So actually building out your your client your client engagement strategy and programs, so these individual ones are going to be programs, is extremely simple. It's always who, why, what, where, when, how. All of these questions get answered throughout the process. And I'm not sure if Jennifer was able to put out the poll, but did we get the poll in how many people are working through this and how many people are here just for knowledge? Okay, so this is a quick poll. If you guys are working through, yeah, if you're working through this, because you're actually working on a process, let us know if you're using this just to learn and to do something in the future. That'd be great too. This helps me determine how best to move forward with this particular presentation. If everyone could take a moment.
All right, I've got about 15 out of the 19 people have responded. 16.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm going to end the poll, and then I think that's going to allow you to see the results here. So let me share the results.
Awesome. All right, so 50-50, perfect. Okay. So who, what, where, when, how, why? These are all questions that we're going to answer in building your strategy. The steps are important because in the way that I'm showing them, because it's really going to help you through the process, making sure that you're answering what the need is in a pretty simple way. To be honest, creating the strategy now that you've done the research, you've gone through all of your data, you know what you have available to you is actually very simple. So the first, hold on a second, won't go forward. Okay. The first is, what are you trying to accomplish? What problem are you addressing? So the very first thing you're going to do is write a summary of purpose. Simple, very, very concise and to the point. So if we're looking at the client engagement program that I did for underwriter repair requests for new people in North Country, my summary is assist new clients and policyholders on protecting their home through the winter of the North Country of New York while minimizing impact of unexpected underwriter repairs required through education while strengthening client relationships and sourcing new opportunities. Very simple. It does not have to be elaborate. The next part is why. What specific drill down points do we need to address? All right. And these are always associated to the data and the research that you found. First, manage risk better. Assist new home policyholders unfamiliar with home ownership and or the impact of the North Country winters on homes. Second, high amount of service work. Decrease underwriter inspection repairs required due to North Country weather. I don't know about the rest of you, but chasing our policyholders and making sure that they get the information that's required, making sure that they're doing these repairs, making sure that you're getting the pictures and you're getting them back to the carrier, who's doing what, all of that happens. That's a lot of time and energy that we really don't want to have to focus on. High amount of claims. We want a decrease in claims for ice and snow damage based on policy form and carrier. Service work reduction needed. Decrease customer service representatives underwriting memo processing and chasing insurers for repairs. I mean, we were doing this and spending an awful lot of time making sure that our policyholders weren't being canceled because they didn't complete these things, that they understood the necessity for it. So we had a couple of different things in our process that we needed to do. We needed to educate our own team members on how we expected them to react to this. And we also needed to make sure that we worked with our clients to reduce any of these different issues we were having. Another, service work reduction needed, we went through that. Coverage explanation and education, decrease misunderstandings on snow and ice coverages, making sure that people truly understood what it was that you were saying to them when you were giving them advice and selling the policy. And coverage explanation and education, ensuring wind and ice endorsements are fully explained if it was for a farm. It's completely different. We were finding that we were having a lot of problems and people were misunderstanding what their wind and ice endorsement was compared to their snow and ice coverages on their home policies. All right. So the summary of purpose is what? It's very basic, like we went through, just a simple paragraph. The second is why, with the drill down specifics. What was it that you found that you needed to address? Segmentation is who. Specifically, who specifically is the messaging being addressed to? Well, for this example, new Eastern insuring agent clients and or new home policies that also met first-time homeowners or just moved to the North Country. So you might be saying, how do you collect this information? How do you know that you have this and you can segment these people out so you know who gets what? Well, number one, you need to make sure that you address any data collection issues that you have in Hawksoft. Make sure that you use required fields. You have, I think it's 36 custom fields now that are available to you underneath the client section. Make sure that you're gathering the information and your team members know to collect that information so you can truly segment out who it is that you need to address, right? You can also use your CRM if you have a CRM. Almost every CRM has another section where you can ask very particular questions and you can tag them or flag them however it is that you need. All right. But make sure if you're not able to get to this segment easily, you fix that process. You fix that data collection process now before you start any client engagement process. Okay. All right. Determine tools. So this is the big one. Where, when, and how do you need to communicate to the insured? Are you going to communicate through Hawksoft? Are you going to do it through a CRM? Are you going to do it through a CSP? If people aren't familiar with CSP, customer service platform is a new terminology that's out there. I believe you have Insurance Agent app, you have Glovebox. I think that even Levitate is starting to switch over to utilizing this customer service platform. So this is just another tool that's available. Sometimes you have a CSP inside your CRM, which is your customer relationship management system. Okay. When, all right, immediately after onboarding, springtime cleanup, inspection, early fall prepare before a major storm. How? Email notification, text, manual phone, voicemail drop, and social media. Any way in which you want to communicate and in which your segment chooses to communicate, how they're typically going to do this. Okay, that's always really important. Okay, and then you have to make sure that you define measurements. All right, you need to know what you are doing is working. This is also extremely important. What measurements are you focusing on, and how and where are you going to monitor them? If you have a problem, all right, and you don't have a way in which to measure them, then you have to go back once again, like I had said with the problem that we had, who specifically is being addressed, and you have to look at your AMS, your CRM, your CSP, and determine how you can measure that. Call them, ask them, challenge them. I do that all the time. I think sometimes our tech stack vendors, even Hawksoft, I think cringes if they see my telephone number, because if I can't figure something out, I will call and say, I need to be able to do this. I need to know how to do it. And I don't see anything in help or that's just readily available. And they are always willing to answer the question or help me figure out a new way to go about doing things. So, what measurements were we focusing on? CSR, service related activities for underwriter repairs required. So we were able to monitor those in our Hawksoft activity reports and our communication logs. If you remember in the last presentation I was showing you, we use communication logs for almost everything. Very rarely do you have to do a regular log. And we do that because we can drill down a little bit further into the types of activities that are happening based off of those communication logs. So we have in there for different client communications, the underwriting repairs requested, underwriters repairs still needed, underwriter final notice for repairs needed. We are able to see where we're at throughout the process. In some cases, it's almost like we're treating Hawksoft like a CRM and we're cheating the system a little bit. Home claims. We wanted to look at home claims, roof and windows due to ice and snow. So we use Hawksoft Advanced Reporting. We check this all year round because we all know that when people start receiving education as to how a claim works and what is actually covered, there's always going to be late claims, or there's going to be a claim that's put in some way, somehow. Home claims due to ice and snow that were denied. We always go and look at any claim that was denied to see what it is that we could do better and make sure that that number is going down. We want to make sure that we don't have anybody that's getting that awful letter saying, nope, we're not paying on this claim, because obviously they fully expected something when they submitted the claim. New clients, new policy homes. I wrote down retention first, second, third year with NPS score of 90, client survey of 9.5, and sentimentality promoter. They're labeled a promoter for us. So this isn't something, this particular measurement isn't something that I'm going to be able to see, every single month to see if we're making any changes. I'm in this for the long haul. This client engagement strategy is not a quick fix. It's something that we have to work on, and we have to refine, and we have to change. And this particular number is going to help me determine if my client engagement strategy is working or not overall. I use Hawksoft, our CRM, and our reputation management tool to help me. And reputation management tool is sometimes called an RMT. Referrals from segments. Once again, it's extremely important if this client engagement program is truly helping and it's resonating with the people in the North Country, then they're going to talk about it, especially new homeowners and people moving into the area. It's that good feeling of, I don't know about you all, but Eastern Insuring really helped get me through that first winter. We have a lot of testimonials with that. We never knew that we needed to rake our roof. Who would have thought that you had to purchase a rake for a roof? So these are things that people are saying, which gives us a lot of credibility, gives us a lot of authority in SEO, but also gives us some very good referrals. We track that in the Hawksoft source with the CRM, and once again, the reputation management tool. We know a lot about the sentimentality. So when I say that your outline is simple, I'm showing you an example of a rudimentary, very simple client engagement outline. It's extremely simple. When, how, where, what. If you don't have any other place to start, this is the best place to start. 4 columns, you can do it in Excel, you can do it in Word. You don't have to have any fancy software. Don't go and buy Monday. Don't go and buy a project management tool. Just start with opening up Word or WordPad or Excel or any type of spreadsheet, Google Word, anything, and have 4 columns. Worst comes to worst, grab a piece of paper, make the 4 columns, and then start going through and plotting out what it is that you want to do based off of the specific drill downs. All right. Why? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Who am I doing it for? And where am I going to do it? So if you look at these columns, the first is when. All right. I've defined when I need to do it. You don't have to have a hard date. All right. Your date is going to start. It's going to start coming together sooner or later. You could just have a basic premise. As soon as onboarding occurs of a new client or a policy that meets my rules, they're going to receive an email. They're going to receive it through Client Circle. They're going to receive a templated email about homeownership in the North Country. It says, welcome to the North Country. We heard that this is your first winter here. We love all of the wonderful sports and activities that you can do. Please, if you're looking for something to do or a way for your family to learn more about the North Country culture, you can click here. But there's a couple of things that we want to let you know. There's some secrets about raking your roof or making sure that you don't have ice buildup, how to deal with a home that's a little bit older. Typical homes in the North Country are at least 50 to 60 years old. It's a great introductory email. And we have people all the time tell us that they print it out and they keep it, that it helps them understand. We have real estate agents who call us and say, can I get a copy of that email? Because I like to give it to my other clients too, that I know that are moving into the North Country. And it's just like, sure, we're more than happy. If you would like to join our referral program, that would be even better. We would automatically send this out to you whenever one of your clients buys a house, so you have it. And then we can start working on a referral process program with them. The next touch point, spring equinox. All right, I want an email and I want social media posts. So the first is going to be an email through Client Circle. It's an auto template that sends out automatically to the client, letting them know that this is a great time for spring cleanup and an inspection checklist with an infographic, what to look for around your house. Signs that something might have happened during the winter and you don't know. You didn't know during the winter with the 3 inches of ice and the 6 feet of snow. You know, these are different things that you should be prepared for and you can look for. All right. We share that infographic as well on social media. All right. We share it on Facebook, Instagram. If it's a video, we put it out on YouTube. We try to make sure that we include a video, but it's nice and it's simple and it's reinforcing something that they've already learned in an email. Next touch point, fall equinox. It's an email that goes out how to prepare for winter, how to inspect for winter, and an infographic. We usually include a checklist and a video in this. We do change it just a little bit each year, and talk about insulation as well. Then we work on a social media post for Facebook, Instagram, and then we include it in YouTube if it's a video of, you know, insulation 101 infographic. What does it mean? What's going to happen to your roof? What's going to happen to your windows if your insulation's not where it needs to be? We give them a free printout to create an emergency services provider assistance list. The worst thing that can happen is, you know, because of your roof, you've had major damage. You're now, you know, you have water leaking in. You don't know what it is you're going to do. How are you going to get that snow and that ice off your roof? These are people that we know of in the area that you can create relationships with now. You can address now. All right. Next is first week of November, an email out to them, reminder to do a home inventory with our mobile app tool, and an infographic with, you know, handy snow removal tools and tricks that can help them. Did you purchase this yet? Do you have this yet? These are neat little tips and tricks that North Country residents use to keep their roof and their windows, you know, from rot and damage. The inventory app reminder, just please remember that you can use this mobile app. You can take these pictures. You can show what it is that your house looked like before a major storm. All right. We do a social media post. We do Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes YouTube with an inventory app reminder as well. Hey, you know, make sure that you take, you know, those updated images and video of your home, the exterior and the interior. And then we include an infographic in social media as well for a handy snow removal tip. And then as needed, we use notifications through, we have Insurance Agent app, but you can use notifications with whatever you have. We put out a direct message for a blizzard and ice storm with it should say best practices. Sorry, it says B practices. We send out a text. We can do that through Client Circle, just a direct text with claims and fax information. If we know it's going to be a doozy, we want our clients prepared. And we've had people come back and say to us, you know what, I was really worried about this. This was my first blizzard. I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. But when I got that, I knew that somebody was prepared. Somebody knew that this happens. It's life. We get through it. And I know what I have to do. And it was probably one of the best testimonials that we could have had. The next is an email, you know, once again, infographic for best practices for safe snow and ice removal and hazards. And the reason why we're doing a text and we're doing an email is our clients, they have to choose one or the other. You either opt in for text or you opt in for email. All right. If you opt in for text, you're not going to get as much communication from us. But if you opt in for email, you're going to get a lot more. That's helpful. All right. Social media posts with Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes YouTube, infographics and videos for best practices for safe snow and ice removal and hazards. Very, very basic. This is the most basic that you can lay out your client engagement strategy program for just this one problem. So I have a question. I'm gonna keep Jennifer on her toes. And I think you can raise your hand, right, Jennifer?
Yeah. Yep. So if you guys look at your participant panel, it's a little button at the bottom of the screen. It'll show you everybody who's on the webinar, and you have an option. There should be a button to raise your hand.
Okay. Who can tell me why I would not be posting this in LinkedIn?
All right.
Anybody
see if anybody's raising their hand. If you also want to respond, you could also put it in the chat.
Yes.
That would be a great use of the chat as well.
Nobody? Okay.
See, nobody's.
All right. So we wouldn't put this in LinkedIn because that doesn't meet my segment. LinkedIn is more a business to business platform. This is not a business to personal platform. So there really would not be a purpose. LinkedIn is great for segmentation and targeted advertising and targeted communication. But if you notice, I chose what it was I was going to use. I chose Facebook and Instagram because that's how most of the people in the North Country and our clients communicate with us. All right, outside of emails or telephone calls. I didn't include Twitter because our clients really don't use Twitter, or this segmentation, we don't know if they do or not. So we're focusing on the best where and how we're going to communicate with them possible. There's a bunch of other ways we could do this. If there's a major blizzard coming, we could do a voicemail drop. If that's what our clients wanted, we could send that. No problem. It would be nice and easy. But we found that our clients, especially this particular segment, they enjoy finding this information through email, and it pushes them when they know that there's more information on our social media page. It pushes them to go to our page and like our page. All right. By going to our page and liking our page and finding more information, they're offering us more authority. They're validating that what we're saying is important to them. And when friends see who it is that they're following and businesses that following, that also creates more potential referrals in the future. So it's very specific and very, very simple in your outline. You literally going to outline every touch point, action, and point of action that you want to handle based off of how you wrote your summary, your very detailed target points in your summary. So your why, your what, and then moving through the rest of the process. Okay. Any questions from anybody so far?
We don't at this moment, but
Okay.
If anybody would like to ask a question, go ahead and put it into the Q&A area, and then I can pass that along to Kara Marie so she can respond.
Okay.
So if you have something you'd like to ask right now, feel free to pop it into the Q&A.
So I'm leading up to the bigger question of content in just a few minutes, but these are a couple examples of the different types of client engagement that you're going to be working through. I feel that it's nice to separate out the different types of touch points that you want to make. So the first is transactional. Right? That's a touch point that's related to a transaction, invoicing, receipts, confirmation emails. Education, sharing educational content, such as articles, webinars, anything that you feel is education and that you want to push out. Customer support, responding promptly to inquiries, addressing concerns, providing technical support. Whenever you see in your data and in the information that you're reviewing that you have a customer support problem, you can label it if you'd like. All right. I do. I'm very granular when I start looking at all of this. It drives my broker nuts. So I have to show him this outline here, but I have in the background my outline of what it is that I want to do. Feedbacks and surveys are another type. Onboarding and expectations, renewals and upsells, crisis communication, safety and protection, client appreciation, engagement, and trust building. Oh, somebody's typing in here. That was weird. Okay. All right. I'm going to move forward. All right. So creating, add content and create to use. This is where everyone gets hung up. They realize, all right, I just need to keep the outline of what it is that I'm going to do simple and create the timeline of what it is that I want to do. Got all of that. I understand my segment. I understand the problem that I need to address. I've written out how I want to address it. Now, what am I going to say? This is always, a problem. This is where people typically start to just turn away from finishing their client engagement program, or they don't give content the importance that it really needs. So first and foremost, the wonderful secret about content is there's so much out there already that you can utilize to give you some great ideas. But if you need to look for something more, or you want to start from scratch, ChatGPT, I'm not sure if you guys have it. It's a free account. Go in and set up your free account and start putting in different questions that you might have related to the problem you're trying to solve. See what ChatGPT does. You're not a content writer. It's not something you like to do. It's not, it just doesn't come naturally. There are AI writing tools out there like Jasper AI. Jasper is the one that I use. Sometimes, I mean, I've written content for insurance, for retail, for for vertical machine tools, for plays and theaters. I mean, sometimes you don't have anything fresh, or you need to start jogging your memory, or you need to start working on something. You need to make sure that it's not too similar to other people's information. An AI writing tool will help you with that. An AI art creator. So we have Jasper AI. Sometimes when I just need something quick, and it's an infographic, or it's some kind of image that I want people to see, and it resonates to what it is that I'm writing, Jasper can create that for me. It's quick and it's easy. I look to other agencies' content. I look and see what other agencies are doing and how they're doing it. And I always ask the question, how can I do it differently, or how can I do it better? Or will that really resonate with my clients? If not, what would? Look to your carriers. Your carriers have a ton of client engagement information. We work with almost 40 different carriers, and every single one in some way, shape, or form has both personal lines and commercial lines engagement content to help you. An example, we work and sell to truckers. And one of the big things that we wanted to make sure is truckers knew with Progressive, their progressive carrier, that there's a way for them to make sure that they can stay on the road, and they can get, if they have a breakdown, that they can get wherever they need to get to quickly to get their truck repaired and get it back on the road, because you're losing money if they're not putting miles on their truck. Carriers have a ton of content for you. It's not all sales. You do have to go and you have to kind of sort through what it is that they're offering you. Progressive, New York Central Mutual, Safeco, they actually have a filter where you can put in just for retention. I'm looking for any content that's just related to retention. I'm just gonna take a quick drink. So look to your carriers. Ask them if they have anything. Talk to your market reps when they come in, and they're looking for particular numbers. Say, I have some information for you. I have some client engagement statistics that I want you to look at. These are things that I need. Does your agency have it, or does your carrier have it, or do you have anything that you could potentially create for us? Look to your InsurTech partners. Your InsurTech partners, if they're focused on retention, they should be helping provide you with some good information, or a way in which to create it quickly, or a way in which to push it out. Insurance Agent App, they provide us with assets on how to have your policyholder adopt your mobile app. I don't have to create it from scratch. I just include what it is that they've already given me in our messaging, making sure that it's branded my way, and push it out. So don't think that you're always going to have to create from scratch. For videos, for vector art, for images, I use iStock Photo. There's a whole bunch of different companies out there that provide to you any type of images or vector or video that you can purchase for, and sometimes there's royalty free. We typically stick to purchasing something only because we want to make sure that it's different from everybody else, but that's just us. An infographic creator. A lot of people would always tell me, an infographic would be great, but it costs hundreds of dollars to get a marketing company to create it. If that's not what it is that you want to do, there are infographic creators on there like Piktochart and Visme. I mean, it's like $7.99, and you can create your own infographic in less than 5-10 minutes. And it's branded to you and your agency. But the most important thing to know is you don't have to start from scratch all on your own. There are different tools that are out there that will help you do this and help you do it quickly. When I used to write content, I mean, it would take me weeks to create a client engagement program. And you have to start from scratch, and you're not moving forward. Now, when I'm utilizing different tools, I can usually get a client engagement program done, written out, ready for somebody to proof and read for buy-in within a day or two. It's that, it really can be that simple. It takes a while to learn these things. It takes a while to get comfortable with them. But if you're starting with something small, you're starting with your first client engagement program that's just a few touch points long, and you get it out, the more you practice doing it, the more you get out there, the easier everything gets. So the only other thing that I'd like to add is it is important to make sure that you think about your brand. And this is a whole nother conversation, which I think we talked about at the regional conference in Charlotte, what your brand DNA is. So when you're writing this content, when you're creating it and you're thinking about what it is that you want to say, you keep your segment in mind. You're always working to address a particular segment. But you have to make sure that the tone of what it is that you're writing, it correlates with what your brand voice is. If you're not sure what your brand voice is, I mean, it's quick and easy to do. There's you can actually go back to the Charlotte regional the regional conference. I think it was like a regional meeting, and I believe that the presentation is still up on the Hawksoft user group website. There's a whole section in there on how to create your brand DNA, how to create your brand voice. It's something that's pretty important for you guys to understand, to make sure that it sounds like your agency, but also to make sure that you have buy-in from everybody in your agency. So your homework for this phase is to add content. All right. And it should say, I'm so sorry for the two spelling errors. That's crazy. Create and reuse. So when you're going to add content and you're going to create it, also plan on reusing it in other spaces. When you create this, you're going to find that you can reuse it in so many different areas. You're going to write up your 2 client engagement programs. You're going to create your outline, just like we did right here. Very simple, to the point. All right. You're going to identify your resources for content. So you're going to decide, all right, am I going to use ChatGPT? Am I going to use an AI writer? Do I know what it is that I need to write and how I want to do it? I'm pretty comfortable with that. Where am I going to get the pictures? Do I need to create something? All right. And then start writing your content. Start writing your emails. Start writing what your Facebook is going to be. I probably should have added to create, I use Hootsuite for my social media. And in Hootsuite, my my AI writing tools are automatically in the system. And I believe, even though I don't use it in Client Circle also has an AI writer associated to it. I believe Levitate also included that in theirs. I know that Insured Mind, if you're using Insured Mind, they've also created, or they've also added ChatGPT and AI writing tools in theirs. So look and see what it is that you have, what technologies you have. Determine if you need to go and get any other external technologies that are either free or they're cheap. And I promise you, almost everything on this list is either free or it's extremely inexpensive. And the amount of time and energy you're going to save is well worth the investment. So you're going to write up your 2 client engagement programs as outlines. You're going to identify the resources for your content. All right. And you're going to start writing your content. Do we have any questions?
This is our opportunity to let people ask questions because we don't have anything up right now. But you know, I really agree with you. All those AI things that are out there now are super helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, from developing content and just rewording things. You know, sometimes, like you said, it's just hard to come up with a fresh way to say something. And the AI tools are just amazing. We are going to do, even at the national conference, I believe we're going to have 2 sessions about AI,
Nice.
just to help people understand what it is. I think there's going to be like a beginner one that's going to be like, this is what it is. And then a more advanced one as well, which I think people will really appreciate.
Yeah. I think people will.
All right. Any questions?
And once again, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and set up a 15-minute call if you have very specific questions. I know sometimes talking about a client strategy program in front of other people, still not sure exactly what you're looking for or how you want to move forward with it. It's not something people are comfortable talking about in front of their peers. I always keep most of mine close to home. But I'm more than happy if anybody has a 15-minute time slot that they want to sign up for.
We had somebody who wanted to know when our national conference is. It's going to be in April. I'm looking up the exact date so I get them right. It's April 3rd through the 5th, and it's going to be in Carlsbad, California, and tickets are on sale right now. So if you go out to the hawksoftusergroup.org and look at events, you'll see a link to our registration for the national conference.
Andy wrote, I'm real interested in ChatGPT. You know, it really is a great tool. And for client engagement, I utilize it a little bit different. I try to put myself in the place of the person who's receiving the content and ask a question that they might ask and in a way that they may ask it. Sometimes I'll have to call a friend of mine or somebody that one of our clients that's having a problem and, you know, ask them, you know, what questions do you have for me? What can I help you understand? And I'll put that into the ChatGPT. You'd be amazed at how you can find different issues or different ways to solve a problem or a better way to rephrase a question by utilizing it. It's pretty cool.
Susan has a good question, and I think this is something you can probably address because she's saying, I'm completely new to the industry, have identified some industries. How do I understand the needs without experience? Which is kind of where you started with on more than one occasion with your job. You've come right into that same situation, right?
Yes. So completely new to the industry in August of 2021 for insurance. And I mean, I had to do the same thing, Susan. I had to figure out how can I help? Where can I be the most beneficial? The very first thing I would do is I would go to your Hawksoft Agency Intelligence Report and I would look at your retention and see what percentage you're at. National average is usually between 70 and 75%, but it really is specific to different agencies. Look at your retention number, look at your monoline auto and your monoline home to see what those percentages are. If you have anything that's over 40%, I think that's something that you can immediately start on. But also look at the type of service activities in the Hawksoft activity report that your CSRs are doing, because it's not about client engagement isn't about going and getting new clients. It's once again retaining your current clients, upselling to them, but making sure that you also are giving them the type of customer service they need. So questions you can ask yourself when you're looking at this data: do you have a lot of people in notice of cancellation non-pay? Do you have a lot of people that do you have a lot of claims that are coming in for a very particular segment? I mean, we get a ton of auto claims that really has to deal with how the agency used to be a commodity agency selling just auto to anybody and everybody. And we needed to start educating those clients. Do you have a lot of clients that have youthful drivers? And how can you help those youthful drivers grow and graduate into getting their own insurance with you in the future, that they're the named insured? There's a lot of different ways to kind of start. But Susan, I'm more than happy if you want to have an individual conversation where you can ask a lot of questions. I'm more than happy to set that up.
Karen Marie, do you have your contact information up again or on a slide that we could throw on there?
Let me go to the next one. For some reason, my there we go. Whoop. Go back right there. Are you guys seeing it? This is my contact information. Yep. You can email me. You can call the 1-800 number. I'm going to be honest, I'm usually on the phone or on a conference or something, because I'm also responsible for building our tech stack, and we're in the process of rebuilding our website. But an email is the best way to get a hold of me and set something up.
That's great. I know you said that several people did reach out to you individually, and you had some
Yes.
really great conversations with people, and
Yes.
helped you to better understand even what you wanted to talk to people about during the webinar.
It was great. I used one of the examples that was relatable for trucking. I had somebody call for trucking, and what it is that they could start working on and doing for client engagement. And it's something that we also were dealing with to an extent. So there's a lot of different things that we do. Everybody always asks, can you just share your client engagement programs with me? And the reality is, because of that segmentation and what's unique to your business, it's not going to do anything for you. It might give you some ideas, but it really isn't going to help you with what you need, because it's so unique to any type of problem you're trying to solve. But I would like to know, does anybody have any social media campaigns going on right now to help reduce claims for Thanksgiving? Anybody?
Let's, if
So
you do, go
Susan,
ahead and put it in the chat, or if you want to use the hand raising capability, we can,
yeah.
we
So
might be able to
Susan,
unmute you.
if you wanted to do something quick without having to go in and look at your data, I mean, claims are always something that you can work on. It's always something that you can help your client base with. Create a quick Thanksgiving strategy that you could put out on social media. Go and look at what the statistics are. I mean, you have deep fryers. I mean, we shared one on our social media page about how someone took a frozen turkey and put it into a deep fryer, and it literally turned into a cannon, a turkey cannon, and exploded everywhere. Hurt 2 cars. They had to have new vinyl siding. Somebody got hurt. Talk about the dangers of what can happen if you're not prepared, how to prepare for Thanksgiving. All right. And reduce claims. That's client engagement. That's not new client, purchase. That's client engagement. That's retaining who you have and making sure that you give them some good knowledge to look forward. Be funny about it. Don't be serious. Everybody's so serious on their social media in the insurance industry. And I know there's times to be serious, but if you look at what people are looking for on Facebook, on Instagram, they're not looking for serious. They're looking for something that's educational, but it's a little bit lighthearted that they can chuckle and they can connect with and realize, ooh, I was an idiot. I did that. I really shouldn't have done it, but I did it. I won't do it again. So that's kind of a mentality to think about. Serious is LinkedIn. Serious is putting out a Twitter notification. Serious are notification alerts. But have a little bit of fun with Facebook and sometimes your video. I have social media that needs some guidance in revising my Facebook page from the name to my business name. Well, Susan, please feel free. So I can't do it for you, but I can help guide in how you can do it. And then maybe in the future you can help somebody else within the insurance agency to help guide them.
All right, we did not have questions.
Okay.
She just said she's going to call you, but we're not having any questions. So our plan is to continue the series next week. So this will be on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, just to give everybody the heads up. But we will also record it so that if for some reason you're off on that day, we'll have the recording available. And then don't forget to do your homework. And if you need some guidance from Karen Marie, reach out to her and give her, drop her an email and get some input. Karen Marie, thank you so much.
See you guys next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.